Thanks. Okay. So I think I got what I want to say. I have another sip of coffee. So I think I was here last year. I did a similar interview format. I'm here again. Gonna do a similar format this year with some coffee. So, applying for the Global Imagination Scholarship. I want to outline sort of what I've done in the last year, what I'm going to do in the short term and the future, and then what my long-term vision is. So in the last year, been able to have the time to start Photo Club. We've come out with a journal, should be out in digital format soon, coming out in print format soon. Really hoping to establish Photo Club as a institution within the photo program itself, where future students can have contact, present students feel supported, and there's a connection, touchstone with alumni. And the journal would be sort of that product cross-section of the program, working to promote CMC's photo program, which I think is really excellent. Also did style class last semester. Came to the conclusion that I really like gallery installation work, and specifically photo-driven experiential gallery installation work. Was fortunate enough to have Derek and the program turn over the right gallery to me for an installation, which was a great opportunity and great process, and I think I brought it from initial vision to installation or real world possibility about as well as I could. Always can be better, but it put me on that path to having work that I can document that I've done, that I can put into a portfolio. And in the short term, next semester, I'll be entering into a portfolio class, and that's my vision, would be to make another large installation that I can add to that portfolio, that I can take to galleries or museums and show them that I can produce something that is creative, that people will love to interact with, and that will bring people into their space. That's a long-term thing. It's going to take a lengthy contact list. It's going to take making the right connections. It's going to take the body of work. And the body of work won't stop after I get out of CMC. It'll have to continue to accumulate, because at the current pace, I would have three installations. So we'll need to start to find creative ways to continue to create installations. So the other thing that happened last year, and I think the style class and this experience have kind of fed into each other, was I got to go to have an internship at CPW, the Center for Photography at Woodstock, where Derek was some 20 odd years ago. And it was great. It was one of the best experiences I've had. Photographically, it was awesome. I had the darkroom to myself. I had the digital kitchen to myself. I learned how to do gallery installations. I learned how to curate. I learned how to frame. I learned so many things. And it wouldn't have been possible without the connections at CMC, the funding from the Resnick family. So those three things have been sort of big developments in the last year since I sat down and talked to you last. And my three visions for the future, they've changed a little bit. I outlined that gallery installation future. It's going to be a gradual process. I think in the short term, when I graduate, I want to have a camera in my hand, whether it's doing portraiture, LinkedIn headshots, or weddings, or architecture, or all of those. I want to be a freelance photographer in the short term. I'm not ruling out some of my other skills, but that would be my main focus, to get that professional experience. I want that professional experience so that I can have the option to go into fine art photography, gallery installations, and I have that practical body of work to do that. But also, if I want to go into teaching, one of the things I really appreciate about the teaching staff at CMC is they have professional experience. So when they're talking about, cranking out a bunch of LinkedIn headshots, they've actually done that, or they've been to a wedding shoot. That's one of the things I really appreciate about when they're teaching us these real world skills. They've used the real world skills, so you hear it from the horse's mouth. So if I were to go into teaching, I think gaining that first piece is key. I work with Kat Moser once a week. She's a fine art photographer at Snowmass. One of the main things I do for her is education. Teach her how to use Lightroom, teach her how to use Photoshop, been teaching her how to print. All things I've learned at CMC. From what she tells me, I'm pretty good at it. I'm patient. I let her make mistakes. I let her learn from those mistakes. And I think that's what the teaching staff at CMC does very well. They create the environment for you to make mistakes. They show you how to learn from those mistakes, and they give you all the tools you need to learn. They show you what to do, and they guide you in how to do it while you're doing it. And I think it's a great program. And so it's a possibility that I can get into that sort of environment and be a teacher of photography or fine art. And I think last year I outlined this vision of a book. I think that's sort of a far off future vision. I would like one of these two to come to fruition first, and after I've gained some professional experience, put away some money. It is not out of the realm of possibility that I will go on a huge journey documenting ways of growing food biodynamically or in urban agricultural settings, packaging that journey into a book that outlines different garden designs, has beautiful photos, and shows the different ways people can grow a lot of food on a small amount of space with little or no input from the outside environment. And I think that's going to be one of the keys in the future as resources become more scarce, is having sustainability is having sustainable places like that. So their loops are self-contained. Their loops have been closed. So when I say their loops are closed, they're pretty much set on their own place. They don't need to bring in a lot of water. They don't need to bring in a lot of organic matter. They don't need to bring in a lot of resources. So having that resource as a book where people can learn how to close their loops, I think is going to be an important book to have in the future. So that's where I've been in the short term. That's where I'm going in the short term. That's where I'm going in the long term. And like I said last year, I've loved the program. Don't really want to leave, but I know what I've learned will allow me to be a great professional when I do leave. And what I really appreciate from the opportunity last year and what I'm asking for this year is the money really just buys me time. And time, I'm really short on time, and I do trade some of my time for money, and the Resnick scholarship really allows me to have more time, and I don't need to trade my precious time for money. So I appreciate you listening to me today, and I look forward to more time at CMC till next fall, and we'll see what happens. Thanks.